Day because I think he's a good dude. All right, so I want to reset the scene for you, okay? This is Marjorie Taylor Greene holding an event as she did yesterday, and it was one of those town halls. It didn't go so very well for Marjorie, for Three-Toe. So Marjorie had someone in the crowd shout out, "You butch body bigot." I have to admit, when I heard that, I did laugh because I do think it's funny. It's a Jasmine Crockett started it. This is how it went down, and this is how it sounded like. Have a listen to this.
FBI, ATF, Border Patrol, ICE, and many local law enforcement, all the way from city, county, and states, all across the country are working together to track down illegal alien criminals, cartels, and terrorists that are not just living at the border. Ladies and gentlemen, they're all inside the interior of the United States. All inside the interior of the United States. You can head out. The protest is outside. Thank you very much. Protest is outside. Protest is outside. Bye. Have fun out there. City of Ackworth is doing a great job. They have an area for protests outside. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there you go. Protest is outside. Well, the protest was inside as well. There was at least one person at her event yesterday that got tased. There was another person that was completely roughed up, and it didn't appear like the one gentleman, at least that I saw, was resisting at all. One person that got tased was resisting, I will admit that, but there was another gentleman there that was getting roughed up, and it didn't appear that he was resisting at all. So I think you might have a lawsuit at a minimum. I certainly agree with that. And it's interesting because Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't want people protesting at her events, but yet she was the one at Joe Biden's State of the Union that was decked out in all that MAGA ridiculous gear. And she was the one that was screaming at Joe Biden and calling him a liar in the middle of his speech. So fine. I'm glad. So she was asked about insider trading. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene is being accused of insider trading is because $300,000 to $400,000 of stocks were bought and sold days before Donald Trump made the announcement that he was having a 90-day ban on the tariffs. And this is Hakeem Jeffries when asked about that yesterday on MSNBC. Listen to this conversation.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene bought between about $21,000, according to the reports, and $315,000 in stocks in the 2 days before Trump announced he was pausing the sweeping global tariffs, notably stocks that were initially hit the hardest. She also apparently dumped between $50,000 and $100,000 in bonds. That doesn't sound like a coincidence to me, but what do you think of that? And what can happen to look into that?
So many of these people are crooks, liars, and frauds. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is, of course, Exhibit A. We are seeing corruption unfold before us in real time. And House Democrats and Senate Democrats are going to partner together to make sure we, of course, shine a spotlight on these issues. One, we do need to change the law so that sitting members of Congress cannot trade stock, period, full stop. And until we get to that point, we obviously have to continue to highlight why this is problematic. And if Republicans are unwilling to hold a hearing on this matter, I can assure you Democrats will on Capitol Hill in partnership with the Senate, and we also will take this matter on the road.
There you go. I agree. I hope so. I hope they hold everyone to account. Well, Ocasio-Cortez she was holding a rally yesterday. And here's what AOC had to say about the alleged Marjorie Taylor Greene insider trading. Have a listen to this.
We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene buy that dip. I got one question for her. How much did you make? How much did you make off of people's despair? How much did you make off that panic? How much did you make off of that suffering? No more. We can't accept it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We can't accept it. And AOC is asking a very logical question, at least in my eyes. How much money did Marjorie Taylor Greene actually make off of this stuff? I would be willing to bet she made a lot of money. Let's find out. Let's take a look at her portfolio. How much money has she made? This is public, right? Everyone has the right to see it. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene is responding to it now. Unusual wails broke regarding her hundreds of thousands in stock trading before the tariffs pause. Marjorie Taylor Greene was asked about it. She sounds very defensive. Listen to her response.
Your response to there's been a lot of coverage on stocks buys that you made in the days before and the day of the announcement that these tariffs were being paused. Is there anything that you knew ahead of time, or can you at least respond to the criticism that's been published?
You know, I think that criticism is laughable. President Trump has been talking about tariffs for decades. President Trump announced April 2nd is when he was putting tariffs in place. I have a fiduciary agreement with my portfolio manager. I don't place my buys and sells. That's something that the portfolio manager does for me, and he did a great job. Guess what he did? He bought the dip, and that's what anybody that has any financial sense does when they know the market's going to be going down. That was obvious to everyone, and President Trump had announced tariffs long before. That wasn't anything, that wasn't a secret. Big public information.
Really? It wasn't a secret? So you mean to tell me that you dumped $300,000-$400,000 in the stock market a few days before Donald Trump made this 90-day tariff pause announcement, and you mean to tell everybody that this is just a coincidence and this was all public knowledge and you didn't know anything about it? Give me a frickin' break. She is a criminal, and she needs to be held to account. And speaking of criminals, I do want to talk about this when we come back, and we're going to take some phone calls because Leonard Cardinal is going to be joining us in studio. Decades-long police lieutenant, police officer here in Las Vegas. And I do want to ask him about this story as well. We are going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. We are going to talk about the tariffs. We are going to talk about possible insider trading. Yes, we are going to get down to all of it with all of you, and we will take your calls. But when we come back in 90 seconds, I also want to talk about this Texas teen named Carmelo Anthony. No, I'm not talking about the basketball player. There's a Texas teen named Carmelo Anthony who is accused of fatally stabbing a high school football star at a track meet. And this story is sickening me by the day. Why? Because over $900,000 has been raised on a